We are live at Exposité Place Jean Bellevue for day number 2 of the 2024 3x3 Quebec Challenger. 16 teams started the competition yesterday. Only 8 are still alive, and we are moments away from the first quarterfinal. Miami versus Lausanne are the teams that are going to open up this day number 2. Miami, undefeated yesterday, finished with 2 wins over Podgorica. Utrecht was the first team in Pool B. Raudondvaris qualified thanks to that second place. Meanwhile, Calabasas was eliminated. Dusseldorf also undefeated, leaving Lausanne the number 2 seed on the second spot. So Miami and Lausanne are face to face here. Toronto eliminated, and Uberlandia took everybody by surprise. Marijampole second, Princeton third. Uberlandia starting in the qualifying draw needed to win 4 games to reach this stage of the competition, but they are still alive, and probably whoever follows 3x3 basketball for a long time knows that is not a surprise. My name is Cosmin Petrescu. I'm happy to be here with you for this day number 2. We are starting with the presentation of the teams, and I'm going to be right back with you. So the players were introduced. The crowd is pretty excited to watch this game after day number 1 of the FIBA 3x3 Women's Series Quebec stop. You had a chance to follow that live also here on the FIBA 3x3 YouTube channel. We are getting back to the Quebec Challenger. So it is Miami versus Lausanne. Miami, the number 1 seed in this competition, took care of business yesterday. Gonzalo Las Chaponi and Pedro Maya, the 2 referees for this game. Miami defeated Adazi 21-18 at the start of the competition. That was actually the first game played here and the main draw. And that was followed by a convincing win against Podgorica Kodio 21-9. On the other hand, Lausanne won easily against Toronto. Toronto made it to the main draw from the qualifying draw. That was 21-12. But then they were destroyed by Dusseldorf LFDY, German side, winning that game 21-12. Of course, you have to keep an eye on Jimmer Fredette during this game. Fredette, the top scorer yesterday, with an average of 11.5 points per game. This is also a rematch of the Ulaanbaatar Masters, where during the quarterfinals, Lausanne eliminated Miami 20-18, the final score. 1 replacement in the each team roster. Kareem Maddox getting back for Miami, Jules Martin getting back for Lausanne. And we are underway. First possession of the game for Lausanne and Vester Molteni, who had only 8 points in 2 games yesterday, scoring the first bucket of this quarterfinal. Now Jimmo Fredette stopping, popping, and dropping from beyond the arc. Looks like he is still hot as he was yesterday. That was the first play of the game, but Jimmer Fredette picking up exactly where he left off. 2-1 in favor of Miami. And now Vester Molteni gets the ball from Maddox. Lujovski. The game is stopped for foul away from the basketball. Looks like that was an offensive foul for a moving screen, so that's going to be a turnover for Lausanne. Miami getting it back once again. Jimmer Fredette. Maddox with a screen. Fredette starts the dribble, the bounce pass inside, and Kareem Maddox throws it down, putting Miami up by 2. Looks like Pedro Maya is explaining to Kareem Maddox that after the dunk, he grabbed the ball, so that's a delay of game warning. Now Hlujovsky stops the dribble, looks for Molteni in the post. He starts his maneuvers with 1 second left on the shot clock, almost put that in, but it will go to Miami. Missed shot by Molteni. Once again, that great pass from Fredette and the finish from Kareem Maddox. Fredette again from beyond the arc. This time won't go, but the ball goes back to him. Second attempt. He won't let you escape without the two-pointer if you give him back-to-back doubles. 5-1 in favor of Miami. The answer for Lausanne is still no good. The shot was attempted by Malik Hlujovsky. Now the steal for Lausanne almost happened, but Fredette again, a balanced shot this time. The rebound goes to Gilles Martin. Two-pointer by Molteni. Probably he felt that going to be short after he released it because I saw him sprinting to the rim, trying to get the offensive rebound. Meanwhile, Fredette draws the foul. Once again, I remind you, this is a matchup between the top two seeds in this competition. A lot of people expected this to be the final. Once again, a pass for Maddox, and he is flushing it down yet again. 2 dunks already for Kareem Maddox, the player who replaced Bryce Willis from the Ulaanbaatar Masters in the World Tour, where those two teams met. And as I mentioned before, Lausanne won that 20-18. Off-balance shot here, nothing but net. Dylan Travis adding another point for Miami. His first bucket of the game. Now Martin. Top shot denied by Maddox, but looks like we have a foul on a 2-point attempt. Dylan Travis with a huge mistake. Miami was up by 5. Now they're sending Hlujovsky at the free throw line. He has the chance to close the gap to only 3. And Lausanne, from something like that, can get a little bit of momentum and come back into this game. So Malik Hlujovsky, the free throw line. 2 shots for him. He was not supposed to be here. Carlos Martinez was first announced on the roster for this Lausanne team, who already played twice in the final during the Masters this year in Ulaanbaatar and Chengdu. Came up short both times, and they also defeated in the final in the Zhejiang Challenger in China. Jimmer Fredette now on the drive, missing that shot. He is saying he was hit on the arm. Now the game continues, and the pass inside for Hlujovsky, who finishes it easily after the dish from Western Molteni. Travis, he has Barry on the top of the arc, but he keeps it by himself, puts it up. That rims out. Barry fights for the rebound with Molteni. Molteni not able to shoot it from underneath the basket, but now he dishes it in again. He is converting himself into a dishing machine right now. Back-to-back assists for Western Molteni, and a turnover, meanwhile, committed by Dylan Travis. So Lausanne, after being down by as many as 5, with a 4-0 run here, and now they have the chance to tie it or even take the lead with a double. Another foul away from the basketball. That was against Miami. Missed shot from beyond the arc by Gilles Martin. Now Maddox gives it to Barry, lets it go, and hits. A 2-pointer by Kenyon Barry to stop the run for Lausanne. Martin on the move, stops. He wanted to pass it out for Marco Lehmann. That was intercepted by Fredette. The lob inside for Maddox. The up and under move nicely done over Molteni, adding another point to this Miami lead. Martin here, tough shot, almost went in, but there is Jimmer Fredette with the rebound. The fake, gets it back from Maddox, lobs it in, and Maddox this time without the dunk. He finishes it easily, intercepted by Fredette, gives it in the corner, and that is another double. Kenyon Berry putting the ball into the net, and Miami is separating themselves on a 7-point advantage over Lausanne. 6:06 to go, 13-6 in favor of Miami. As I mentioned before, this is the second time these two teams met during this pro season. Lausanne won the Lambatar quarterfinal in the FIBA 3x3 World Tour. They also met twice last year in Bordeaux, France, and Abu Dhabi, the United Arab Emirates. Both teams were won by Miami. In Abu Dhabi, that was the semifinal during the 2023 pro season. So Miami up by 7. Lausanne with the ball, trying to cut into this lead. This is Gilles Martin. The behind the back pass is for nobody. Kluchowski was trying to get closer to the rim. Martin thought he's going to stay beyond the arc. And I cannot even say they were not on the same page on that play. They were not on the same chapter. They were not on the same book. For that here, over Molteni. This time that's an air ball. Kluchowski grabs the rebound. It's on offense here. Kluchowski, two-pointer. That won't go for Lehmann. Travis here. Back to Berry, puts it up again. Back-to-back doubles for Kenyon Berry. And Miami is up by 9. Meanwhile, Marco Lehmann with a tough shot, finishing it off the glass. Jimmer Fredette escapes from Kluchowski, and that's going to be a foul, not in the act of shooting. Well, no shooting motion here for Jimmer Fredette. Check ball from the 3x3 logo. Fredette. Maddox back to Fredette. Looks for the screen. This time he drives and he draws the contact. Getting to the free throw line for one shot. Former number 10 pick in the NBA drafts back in 2011 when the Milwaukee Bucks selected him after an amazing career at BYU. He was the top scorer in the NCAA during his last college year. Traded to the Sacramento Kings, played for multiple NBA teams, just added another point from the free throw line. Meanwhile, the answer for Malik Kluchowski. And now a missed layup from Dylan Travis. Lausanne gets the ball. Kluchowski on the drive, spins, shoots, and scores. Again, nicely done by Malik Kluchowski. He was part of that team of Lausanne winning the quarterfinal in Ulaanbaatar. The only replacement is Gilles Martin, who replaced Raphael Wilson. Fredette wanted a foul here. The game goes on, and finally, Fredette is hurt by the referee. He probably felt a little bit of fatigue here, trying to check out of the game. Dylan Travis comes back. This is Kluchowski, keeps the dribble alive. Kluchowski tried to thread the needle. That's going to be a kick ball committed by Dylan Travis. Kluchowski on the drive, lowers the shoulder, but there is Dylan Travis acting like the wall from the border between the USA and Mexico. No trespassing, Mr. Kluchowski. Kluchowski right now is asking the referee to hit a technical foul on the Miami team for arguing that call. Game will go on. Gilles Martin here to Kluchowski. The pass inside, and that's a foul committed by Fredette. Marco Lehmann at the free throw line. The shot is no good. It rolls out. Travis comes down with it. Fredette sets the screen. Travis was trying to give it to Fredette. Back to Travis. Puts it up. Molteni only pushes it, but to Kenyon Berry, who from the corner misses the two-pointer this time. Lemon, two-pointer for Molteni, still no good. He didn't look like himself after playing the best 3x3 basketball of his career during this pro season. Fredette with a little bit of magic there, but unfortunately did not have enough sparkle on it. Two-pointer by Martin. Barely touched the rim. Fredette with the rebound. This is Travis back to Fredette. Barry. And now we have a foul committed by Gilles Martin. And also a timeout with 3 minutes and 28 seconds left until the end of this game. Miami, the only North American team still alive in this competition, and one of only two non-European teams who are fighting here for one of the 3 spots available to qualify for the FIBA 3x3 Debrecen Masters at the end of August. The other one is Uberlandia, who's representing Brazil. USA had 3 teams in the competition, but both Calabasas and Princeton came up short yesterday. Also, Canada was represented by Toronto. Canada actually had 5 teams in the qualifying draw. Only Toronto made it to the main round, but they were eliminated. The hook shot here by Maddox. Friendly roll for him. Miami still in control. Two-point attempt by Lemon, rebounded by Maddox. Back to Fredette, puts it up, nothing but net. Jimmer Fredette is still boiling. He was red hot from the start and looks like he's not gonna stop. Not during this game, that's for sure. A foul underneath the basket here. Lausanne still had one to give, but they are trailing by 9. Struggling to score, struggling to keep the other team from scoring, and Jimmer Fredette already with 3 two-pointers during this game, plus multiple other things. Greatly done for his team. You know the rule. Jimmer Fredette is on the court. That's a walking bucket right there. And nobody's safe. No defense is safe. Only heating up probably for the Paris Olympics. What a competition that will be. USA trying to get the first gold medal in the men's competition after failing to do so in Tokyo. Latvia got the gold medals back then, but this time there's no pandemic, there's no COVID. We finally gonna have fans next to the Eiffel Tower. Was a great competition in 2021 in Tokyo, but unfortunately, the restricted access for the fans made it look a little bit unfamiliar for what 3x3 basketball is. Nevertheless, that is water under the bridge. We are hoping not to see times like that anywhere soon around this world. Some issues right now at the technical table. Probably there's a problem with the score, I think. I'm not really sure what this is all about, but this takes a while. Players trying to keep themselves in shape or to continue this game. Right now, it is a double-digit lead in favor of Miami. Really close of winning for the 3rd time in 4 games against Lausanne. And it looks like we are ready to continue this one. Maddox, Fredette, the pass inside, back to Maddox. Lost it on the way to the rim. The steal by Kluchowski, behind the back dribble, the fake, and I think if he would have attempted that shot, he would have at least drawn a foul because Maddox already jumped on that fake, but he wanted to put it outside. That ball was deflected, so 6 sticks on the shot clock. This is Martin, back to Kluchowski with a hand in his face. You're going to take it and you're going to like it, Mr. Fredette. Let me give you a little bit of your own medicine, was the message there. Now Fredette, defended by Molteni. Fredette trying to play some ISO basketball. Look at that. That would have been one of the shots of the day Unfortunately for Fredette, did not touch the rim, and now he is using the last foul to give for Miami in order to stop the other team to score from underneath the rim. Jules Martin back with the rock. Molteni again for Martin. That's a mismatch down low for Molteni. This is where the ball goes, but he misses that. Good defense by Dylan Travis, even though Molteni had a height advantage. And this is for the win. Maddox cannot put Miami to the semifinals yet. Exactly 2 minutes to go until the end of this one, but Miami is within 2 of winning this already. Miami won both games yesterday against Podgorica and Adazi with a total of 21 points. Very close of repeating that for the third time during this Quebec Challenger. Luchowski from outside, in and out this time. Rebounded by Barry Fredette from the corner. 8-ball through the corner pocket, and Miami is through. Jimmer Fredette with his fourth double during this quarterfinal sends Miami to the final. 21-11 the final score. And Miami eliminates the number 2 seed in this competition, Lausanne. And I must say, they made it look easy. 21-11 is the final score. Here are the highlights. Kareem Maddox at the start with the right-hand hook shot. That was actually Wester Molteni, my bad. But then Miami answered with the finish from Kareem Maddox. The two-pointer by Jimmer Fredette. Another dunk by Maddox. He had back-to-back slam dunks at the start of the game. Later on, Wester Molteni transforming himself into a passing machine, finding Kluchowski underneath the rim. Another two-pointer here by Kenyon Barry. Then Maddox again, wide open underneath the rim. Kenyon Barry kept the heat. And Kluchowski off-balance shot later on. Fredette again from beyond the arc. Nothing but net for him. Kluchowski over Fredette, but that came a little bit too late. And in the end, Jimmer Fredette from the corner, sealing the deal for Miami. Now they have to wait and see who they're going to play against in the semifinal. That's going to be the winner between Uberlandia and Raudondvaris Hoptrans. This game is coming up next here on the FIBA 3x3 YouTube channel. We are about 7 minutes away from the start of that game, so I invite you to stay here with us on the FIBA 3x3 YouTube channel. We're going to be right back with plenty of action between those two sides representing Brazil and Lithuania. The second quarterfinal at the FIBA 3x3 2024 Québec Challenger is between Uberlandia, representing Brazil, and Raudondvaris Hoptrans, representing Lithuania. What a Cinderella story for Uberlandia, a team that started in the qualifying draw, had to defeat two local teams, Griffintown 22-7 and Winnipeg 21-10, to make it to the main draw, but they did not stop. They had enough gas to win against Marijampole and Mantinga, so they already have a Lithuanian victim during this competition, and then they eliminated Princeton in a game that needed overtime, 22-20. Uberlandia is now playing for one spot in the semifinals. On the other side, we have Raudondvaris, who started with a win 18-14 against Calabasas, but then they were defeated by Utrecht, so they finished second in the group. The game is underway, already a steal for Uberlandia, and now Branquinho from mid-range puts it in, and that's the first bucket of this game. Beljavicius with fake there. Pass was intended inside for Jauges, the player who replaced Pukelis, usually one of the best players for Raudondvaris in the 3x3 competitions. But talking about Evaldas Jauges, he splits the defense better than most in the Red Sea, and he flushes it down. We are tied at 1 after that amazing play created by Evaldas Jauges. And now a stop for a foul. Mallow gives it up here for a two-pointer, and William Weierman scoring it from outside. Inside now to Jagis. This time finishes it with a reverse layup. Tough shot here, but that's also good. Leo Branquinho putting another point on the board for Uberlandia, and now a foul committed by Jonatas Mello, who twisted his ankle a little bit yesterday during the last game against Princeton, but then came back, and he was able to do a lot of damage in the paint, as he usually does. Now Modestas Kumpis, foul away from the basketball. Kumpis, the only player from the rosters of those two teams who doesn't have a continental medal, at least a continental medal, but he has the jump, he has this high elevation every time when you give him an opportunity. I want to say that he's the only one without a medal for the national team. All the other players won at least one, not to mention multiple medals. Of course, Lithuania in the Europe Cup and Brazil during the FIBA AmeriCup. Actually, this is exactly the roster that Brazil had last year at the 2023 FIBA AmeriCup, when they finished with the silver medals around their necks. Now, a foul on a two-point attempt. That was against Marius Ujupis. Once again, that dunk by Modestas Kumpis. He's one of the players with 11 highlights yesterday, leading that pack. Kumpis now misses, Ujupis missing the first shot from the free throw line. Second one is good. Tied at 4. Ronquinho here. Tough pass there. It looked good, but too high for Jonatas Mello. Gonna go back to Raudondvaris. Jaugis. Back to Kumpis. Inside for Jaugis, and he protects that with the left hand, finishing with the right one. Mello inside. Fouled by Kumpis. That was a smart move by Modestas Kumpis, realizing he has no shot of keeping the big fellow away from the basket. So he committed that foul, only team foul number 2 against Raudondvaris. The lob pass inside. Mello rises up and finishes it. Not a chance this time for Kumpis, but he has the speed advantage. Gives it down low to Jaugis. Back to Kumpis. Lets it go. It rolls out, and the last one to touch it, I think it was a player from Raudondvaris. Let's see. Yep, that is Uberlandia's ball. Ronquinho. Mello sets the screen. Ronquinho, the lob pass inside. Mello. Back to Branquinho, the step back. The two-pointer is no good. Mello reaches to that ball and gives another opportunity to Branquinho, but this is the same outcome. Back-to-back wide open doubles missed by Leo Branquinho. And now Raudondvaris had a chance to take the lead. But looks like Aulius Belavicius was stopped with a foul. A fresh shot block here. They get it back. Belavicius again. Ujupis, Belavicius gives it inside, and Jaugis takes advantage again. After escaping from his defender, Branquinho. Underneath the basket, Branquinho with a power move. Now, off balance, he puts it in. That will count. He asked for the foul. Nothing was called there. Belavicius for 2. Offensive rebound by Valdas Jaugis. But the second attempt is still inaccurate. First time out of the game. We are tied at 6. This is still anybody's game. But we've expected that. As I mentioned before, this Uberlandia team, not really known in the pro circuit, but when they represented Brazil, they had a lot of impact, especially at the FIBA 3x3 Americas. 3 out of 4 players won 2 silver medals in the FIBA 3x3 America. Not to mention William Weierman, Leo Branquinho, who are also bronze medalists at the FIBA 3x3 America, as well as Jonatas Mello. Now the fake here, the shot from outside, nothing but air, unfortunately for Ujupis. That ball was saved. They can keep it in bound, and they do. They put it up, but the double is still no good. And finally, Weierman comes down with a rebound. Good hustle there by Raudondvaris, but that was not enough. It stays 6-6. Sokas, wide open for 2. Missed shot by Weierman. Belavicius puts it inside, turn around, Jay, the ball gets away from the basket. That was a missed shot by Ujupis, and now we have a foul in the paint. Finally a stop here, 4th team foul against Raudondvaris. Mello, Ronquinho. Ronquinho keeping the dribble alive. The shot block is down to 2. He has to put it up, touch the rim so the game can continue. And Mello follows that, puts it up for Branquinho, but that was interrupted by the defensive play created by Modestas Kumpis. We have to give him credit for staying focused next to Branquinho and not letting the taller player to reach for that ball. Sokas, shot from outside. So good. William Weierman, the one to attempt that two-pointer. Modestas Kumpis, as I mentioned before, one of the most spectacular players in the tournament. Now Beljavicius kicks it out. Jaugis usually doesn't take too many two-point attempts. He tried to drive to the basket. Good defense by Sokas. Jefferson Sokas, the player who closed the deal yesterday against Princeton. Great pass inside, but Branquinho cannot finish. Jaugis again in the post, taking care of business again. And finally, we have a point that separates the two teams. Missed shot from beyond the arc. That was Weierman again. Jaugis inside, misses it this time. And Branquinho tracks it down. Branquinho now with the bounce pass. Jefferson Sokas driving on the left hand. He won't get that point. Jaugis saying, get that out of here. And now the pass for Ujupis denied. This is Branquinho. Branquinho lowering his shoulder, missing the left hand layup. He wanted a foul, and Jaugis takes advantage after Branquinho went out of bounds and landed next to the court. So they played some 3-against-2 basketball. And of course, Evaldas Jaugis will not miss that. Weierman to Mello. Back to Weierman from way outside. Unlimited range for William Weierman. And Uberlandia ties it at 8. Can Raudondvaris answer? Yes, they do. Courtesy of Paulius Beljavicius. What you can do, I can do even better. That was the message back there. And now we have an offensive foul against Jonatas Mello. He's not going to argue with that, saying, okay, that's my bad. I'm going to play back on defense, and we're going to take back the ball. Trailing by 2. Weierman. Intercepted by Mello, exactly what I was anticipating, but Branquinho comes up short from underneath the basket. This is not the first time when Branquinho wastes a huge opportunity for his team, and Jaugis makes them pay the toll. Another bucket from underneath the rim, now a foul against Mello, and we're going to have a timeout with 3 minutes and 50 seconds until the end of this one. 11-8 in favor of Raudondvaris. Keep in mind the winner of this one will face Miami in the first semifinal. The next 2 quarterfinals are coming up next. Utrecht versus Marijampole Mantinga, and Dusseldorf LFDY versus Podgorica Kodio. The next 2 games to be played here in Quebec. But until then, still have a long way to go. A lot of things can happen. Uberlandia was the team that showed us yesterday they can come from behind. They are never done. Coming from the qualifying draw, winning all the games, qualifying to the quarterfinals as group winners. 2-pointer miss here by William Weierman. Raudondvaris with the ball. Again inside. Jaugis. Jaugis lost his balance. And he's going to lose the possession. That's a jump ball. That's going to leave a mark. Usually, the 3x3 court is not really smooth. So when you get a foul like that, you get some scratches, some bruises. That doesn't matter for Jaugis. He takes a seat for a moment. Going to be right back in the game. As I mentioned before, substitution who killed us during this Challenger tournament, and he did his job. He was one of the best players for Raudondvaris. Actually, he was the top scorer yesterday with 8.5 points per game. Meanwhile, for Uberlandia, with 7 points per game, Jonatas Mello was the top scorer for the Brazilian team. Branquinho here driving to the basket, and this time he will not miss. Right-hand layup is good. Modestas Kumpis. Beljavicius from outside. Mello fights for the rebound, but that is grabbed by Marius Ujupis, who puts it up That's no good. Melo with a rebound, kicks it out to Branquinho, who was trying to post up Melo again, and he is pushed from behind. That's the last foul to give for Raudondvaris. The lob here. They almost lost it, but Jefferson Sokas finds it back, gets it again after the offensive rebound. He's wide open for two, but this time, Raudondvaris will not pay the price. They dodged the bullet on that one. The lob pass inside. I think Jaugi saw that very late. Branquinho gave him a lot of shadow there. It looks like a total eclipse for the Lithuanian player who did not saw the ball. And now Branquinho gives it to Sokas. Not a good performance so far. 2-pointer off 1 foot. What was that? There were still 4 seconds left in the shot clock. And now the 2-pointer is made by Marius Ujupis. That's a 4-point turnaround after the Sokas miss. Finally, they find something here on the drive by William Weierman. 13-10 the score. Beljavicius, the step back, the double, comes up short, but the ball ricochets back to him. Another shot by Ujupis. This time comes up short, but he grabs it back and he puts it in. Right hand layup for Marius Ujupis. 4-point ball game. Raudondvaris on top with less than 2 minutes to go. Branquinho inside, fakes, shoots, but I think that was a traveling violation combined with a shot block violation. And we have another turnover for Uberlandia. Do they still have enough gas in the tank to fuel another comeback in this competition? They did it yesterday, as I mentioned before. They took everybody by surprise, coming from the qualifying draw where they defeated 22-7 Griffintown and 21-10 Winnipeg. Then they won 21-19 against Marijampole and 22-20 after overtime against Princeton. You can remark that Uberlandia scored at least 21 points in every single game, but right now they have only 10 with over 8 minutes passed in this quarterfinal. Modestas Kumpis gives it here to Ujupis, wide open for two. Cannot knock that down. Jefferson Sokas with the rebound. Back to Jonatas Melo. He puts it up and puts it in. Usually that's not something in his repertoire, but this time he took advantage of that wide open shot, cutting the lead in half. Meanwhile, Jaugis adds another point from underneath the rim. 15-12, right on the cup. It's William Weierman. 2-point ball game. Ujupis with a hand in his face, knocks it down over Jonatas Melo. Ujupis coming up big when the game needed him most. Melo again for two, again! Jonatas Melos is boiling right now from beyond the arc. Still a one-possession game. Kumpis, Ujupis inside, Jaugis, turn around Jay, it rolls in. Raudondvaris keeping that buffer zone from Uberlandia. Melo, he's gonna look for another 2-pointer. This is the heat check, and he is still red hot. Are you kidding me? Back-to-back-to-back doubles for Melo. Ujupis, Jaugis with the screen, gets it inside, misses, wide open from underneath the basket. Uberlandia can tie it here, or even take the lead with a double. Can Melo do it again? Melo, for the 4th time in a row, not this time, comes up short with only 2 seconds to go. Huge opportunity for Jonatas Melo to give Uberlandia a game winner that would have shocked the crowd. They are pretty stunned, to be honest here. The big fellow taking the matter in his own hands, but unfortunately comes up short on the last one. 18-17. I still cannot believe that miss from Evaldas Jaugis. He was wide open underneath the rim. But right now, Uberlandia in a very difficult position. They are not over the limit, so they have to foul twice in order to send somebody to the free throw line. And there are only 2.7 seconds on the game clock. Stranger things had happened, but the odds are not in their favor. Branquinho fouling Elyavicius right away, but that took 1 second off the shot clock. Branquinho will have to do it again, but let's see if they add something on the game clock, because probably a second is a little bit too long. That happened almost simultaneously. Yep, 2.1 seconds now. Well, that's better for Uberlandia, increasing their chances. Once again, a foul committed by Branquinho. And now they're over the limit, sending Paulius Beliavicius to the free throw line for 2 shots. Beliavicius with a total of 12 points yesterday. That's 6 points per game during the games played in the group stage of the competition. Now the situation is pretty simple. If Beliavicius makes them both, then the game is over. If he misses at least one, Uberlandia needs to grab that ball, kick it out, and put it up into the basket in order to tie it or win it. Depends on how many shots Beliavicius scores here. So 2 free throws for Paulius Beliavicius. The first one is good. Second one would erase any chance for Uberlandia to hope qualify for the semifinal. Beliavicius, this is for the win, yes. And the game is basically over. Melo lets it go. He cannot knock that down. And Raudondvaris wins it with a final score of 20-17 after an amazing comeback by Uberlandia. But this time, they came up short. They were so close. Jonatas Melo caught fire at the end of the game, scoring 3 doubles in a row. But the last one, the 4th attempt for Jonatas Melo, was no good. So the game is over. Raudondvaris is through. They're going to play against Miami. And what a game will that be? Here are the highlights. For the second quarter final, Modestas Kumpis with the dunk at the start of the game. Then Jaugis inside going to work. Jaugis was almost impossible to be stopped in the paint, and also playing some great defense, denying that shot. But later on, the Brazilian team trying to come back into it. Jefferson Socas with a 2-pointer, answered by Marius Ujupis with another 2-pointer. Wireman on the drive, finishing with the left hand. And then Melo with a hand in his face over Modestas Kumpis. A 2-pointer for Uberlandia. Then another one for Jonatas Melo. And suddenly, Uberlandia was back into it, but that was not enough. 3-point win in favor of Raudondvaris. And now we're going to have a little break until the third quarterfinal. We're going to be right back in less than 15 minutes. Utrecht versus Marijampole Mantinga coming up next. And that's going to be followed by Dusseldorf versus Podgorica Kodio. Here with us. third quarterfinal of the FIBA 3x3 Québec Challenger. It's going to be refereed by Pedro Maya and Diana Jackson. And Utrecht versus Marijampole are the teams who are fighting for one spot in the semifinals. So far, Utrecht undefeated in this competition, 16-15 against Raudondvaris Hoptrans, 21-13 against Calabasas. Keep in mind that Calabasas was short-handed yesterday. They were down by only 3 players. On the other hand, we have Marijampole Mantinga. They lost against Uberlandia 21-19, but then they were able to defeat Princeton 21-19 too. And with that result, they had enough to qualify for the quarterfinals. But now this is a win and survive game between Utrecht and Marijampole. First possession of the game. We are underway here with a tough shot there, but the finish from Tellison, the top scorer for Utrecht yesterday. On the other hand, we have to keep an eye on Evaldas Schaulis, who was the second top scorer only after Jimmer Fredet. Evaldas Schaulis with 9 points per game during the group phase of this competition. And now we have a foul against Tellison. That's the first foul committed by Marijampole. Adetunji with a ball. Van Tilburg gives it inside. This is Nesta Agassi. He tries to elevate there for the alley-oop. The pass came from Adetunji, intercepted by Marijampole, and the two-pointer is good. First bucket of the game. Evaldas Schaulis, as I mentioned before, the top scorer for his team, 9 points per game. Utrecht gets it here from the 3x3 logo. Norbert Tellison. Tellison escapes, and he was coming down the rafters for that dunk. What a huge play by Norbert Tellison to give a lot of momentum in favor of the Dutch team. Labut is here. Matulis stops, pops, and he is denied by Van Tilburg. No, my bad, by Tellison. Now Tellison wants it down low. Van Tilburg lets it go, misses the two-pointer, but Tellison chases it down. He was looking for Van Tilburg in the paint. Ball got deflected, intercepted here by Marijampole. And now the game is stopped after a foul. Chimonis. Now on the drive, Ignas Labut is driving and thriving. Putting another point on the board for Marijampole, who takes the lead. Van Tilburg. That was way outside, but cannot drop it from downtown. And now we have a foul away from the basketball. Offensive foul for a moving screen that was called against Inatas Matulis. Nesta Agassi gives it back to Adetunji, lets it go, comes up short. And how about that? How fast is Evaldas Schaulis? He just cleared that ball. You blinked, you lost him. And Schaulis going right on the cup, putting Marijampole up by 2. Agassi. Hand off here to Tellison. Agassi with a screen. Tellison driving hard to the basket. And that's an offensive foul. That's going to be against Utrecht. Team foul number 2. Matulis enough. Needs to check out of the game. Schaulis. is Shimonis. Labutis. That was no good. Van Tilburg here. Adetunji. Adetunji stops, gets it back from Van Tilburg. Nicely done. Perfect connection between those two. And Utrecht cuts the lead in half. Chaulis. Shimonis. Another two-point attempt by Chaulis. And that's right down the hatch. Chaulis still red hot since yesterday. Van Tilburg, meanwhile, with a point for Utrecht. Now we have a push here. That's going to stop the play. They're asking for a foul here. A lot of contact. Game goes on. Adrian Van Tilburg back to Tellison from downtown again. Comes up short. Tellison is really letting that ball fly out of his hand. Has a lot of confidence. 7 points per game yesterday. The top scorer for Utrecht. Now Matulis to Labutis. Labutis from the corner. Tracked down by Nesta. Ellison. Back to Nesta inside, trying to find something there. Very tough shot and the tip dunk by Tellison, who is flying over the rim. That looks scary for Marijampole, but meanwhile, Matulis is saying, you know what? When that dunk's gonna count more than 1 point, I'm gonna start to do that too. Until then, let me put it in with a layup. Now Matulis once again was trying to get closer to the basket, kicks it out. The two-pointer is good, and just like that, Marijampole is up by 4. That was not fancy, but that was efficient, that's for sure. Another two-pointer for Marijampole, and when we have reached the first TV timeout of this game, and we are rewatching that monster tip dunk by Tellison, Utrecht is trailing by 4. Utrecht trying to get back to the World Tour Masters. They were in the qualifying draw in Chengdu, but they failed to get on the main draw. They also played in the Hongqiang Challenger in China, and they finished third. Now, the first 3 teams advances to the FIBA 3x3 World Tour Masters in Debrecen. So reaching the semifinal is the first step for that. Look at that crossover. He lost him during that change of direction, but unfortunately for Evaldas Chaulis, is not able to put it in. Tellison here. Van Tilburg was looking for Adetunji. They were not on the same page. That's a turnover. Marijampole gets it back. It stays 9-5 in favor of the Lithuanian team. Matulis. Chaulis. Matulis with the screen, gets it here, lets it fly. Adetunji soars for that rebound. Gives it to Tellison, back to Adetunji. Changes direction, keeping the dribble alive. Tellison from way outside with a hand in his face. That rims out, rebounded by Chaulis. They almost lost it. Somebody has to put a fork in it. And finally, we have a foul that stops the play. That's also team foul number 6 against Utrecht. So Utrecht from now on over the limit, and we have not reached the midpoint of this game yet. What effect will that have on the outcome of this game? We'll see. Marijampole is still with 2 fouls to give. Chaulis against Allison. Lets it go. Nesta with a rebound. Allison getting closer to the basket, creating a lot of contact, and after the separation, he went straight for the layup, cutting into the lead. 3-point advantage in favor of Marijampole. Missed shot by Ignas Labutis. And then looks like I'm going to argue the call here. Ignas Labutis did everything right on that play except for the finish. So I might say the operation was a success, but the patient died. And Tilburg, the handoff for Adeturgi. Tough shot with a hand in his face. Marijampole gets it back. Matulis kicks it out. Shaulis fakes it, shoots it, misses everything. And Agassi gets the rebound for his team, Van Tilburg. With a little bit of luck back to Agassi, and the game is stopped. That dunk will not count. They were asking for an unsportsmanlike conduct as Nesta Agassi had a clear path to the basket. They're talking about it. So have to wait and see what's the call in the end. And yep, that's an unsportsmanlike conduct, and I agree with that. Nesta Agassi had a clear path to the basket. If that would not have been a foul, he would have scored that. And as you saw, that was a pretty easy slam dunk for him. So right now he's going to the free throw line. That bucket will not count, but he has 2 free throws here and the opportunity of making this a 1-point ball game. First shot was in. Another chance for Nesta Agassi. He knocks that down. The game resumes here. Shaulis misses the 2-pointer. Agassi comes down with it. Now he stops the dribble, finds Tellison. Tellison in traffic, needs to give it back to Agassi, but they connect and Agassi lays it in, even though he was off balance on that drive. And Utrecht, after a 3-0 run, courtesy of Agassi, who scored all the points for his team, is now tied with Marijampole. Matulis is Labutis. Shaulis on the move. The ball goes back for a major rock attack. That was Ignas Labutis finding the open lane and getting on the ladder. Marijampole back on top. Now another foul against Marijampole. They are over the limit, so that will send Norbert Tellison the free throw line for 2 shots, but the first one goes in off the bank. I don't know if he called back on that one, but you know how they say sometimes it's better be lucky than good. Probably that was the case for Tellison. We'll see. If he shoots the second one off the glass, I will agree with that, but no. But 2 out of 2 for Tellison. Utrecht with the lead. Nesta getting the ball back, and Adrian van Tilburg misses the shot. Once again, Van Tilburg inside, puts it in. 2-point advantage in favor of Utrecht. Not long ago, Marijampole was up by as many as 3, and now I think they are giving it back to Utrecht with 3:45 left until the end of this one. This is the second timeout in this game. So 12-10 in favor of Utrecht, trying to reach the semifinals in this competition. The winner of this one will face the winner of the last quarterfinal. That will be played between Dusseldorf LFDY and Podgorica Kodio. That game is coming up in about 10 minutes here on the FIBA 3x3 YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, and keep in mind, find us everywhere on social media. Follow us at FIBA 3x3. The Game resumes here. Tellison with the spin. Missing the shot here. Marijampole gets it back. Kimonis. A lob pass inside and the easy breezy finish by Gintaunas Matulis. 1 point ball game. Tellison here had Van Tilburg wide open. He has Adetunji wide open and he knocked it down. Olushi Adetunji with a huge 2-pointer to give Marijampole a 3-point lead. And that was a push. That's a foul against Marijampole. That's another turnover. Being an offensive foul, that's not going to be penalized with 2 free throws for Utrecht, but they're going to get the ball back. And they can increase the lead. Nesta. Offensive foul this time against Utrecht. Not taking advantage on that opportunity, giving the ball back to Marijampole. Well, the game was stopped because that was the 7th team foul for Utrecht, but that same situation, that was an offense, so no free throws. It was correct to start the game from the 3x3 logo. 2-pointer here, missed by Schaulis. Nesta Agassi gets the rebound. Van Tilburg. Adetunji threads the needle, and Van Tilburg knocks it down off the glass. 2-pointer here for Marijampole. That would have been huge for Matulis. They still have it. Matulis back to Schaulis, who escapes but misses it from point blank range. What an opportunity wasted by the best scorer of this team, and looks like Utrecht is taking a firm grip on that lead. Adetunji driving and thriving. That's a 5-point lead, a turnover committed by Marijampole on the inbound, and they really need a timeout. 2 minutes and 21 seconds, trailing by 5. This is not over, but all the momentum is going into Utrecht direction right now. Is the Adetunji finish, and that was followed by a bad pass straight out of bounds. Presence to the Dutch team. Good pass inside, and another rack attack for Utrecht. Once again, the ball goes to Utrecht. Looks like nothing works anymore for Marijampole. Adetunji. He was waiting here for the screen. The 2-pointer is no good. Tellison gets the rebound here for Utrecht. He is pushed. No foul called. Inside Nesta Agassi. Missing that shot. Get back the rebound. Adetunji on the drive. Off balance shot. No good. Labutis with the rebound here. And top reverse layup. That's going to send Schaulis to the free throw line for 2 shots. This is exactly what you shouldn't do if you are playing for Utrecht right now. Don't foul. Just don't foul, because you're getting the other team to the free throw line. They shoot it. The game clock is stopped. So you basically are giving them possibility of getting back into this. This is exactly what Schaulis is doing, taking advantage of those free throws. Adetunji here. Lost the ball for a second, but that was deflected by Matulis. Gonna stay with Utrecht with only 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Tellison traveled. He jumped with the ball in his hands. Marijampole still with a little bit of life in this. They need something on this attack. And Shaolis, the top scorer of the team, gave them something. Shaolis on the drive. He's slicing and dicing this time. And this is a three-point ball game with a little bit more than a minute to go. This is not over. Van Tilburg driving to the hoop, leaves it to Tilson, and that's another flush. They're putting on a show here for us. A two-pointer miss by Marijampole. Wide open for Juiz Matulis. Cannot drop it. Offensive rebound, another miss, and another shot. Labudis not able to knock that down. And finally, we have a game stop for another offensive foul against Utrecht. That was called against Nesta Agassi. 38 seconds to go. Another timeout here. Adetunji with that layup moments ago. And then the finish from Hellison. Hellison acting like a highlight machine during this game. Dunk after dunk for him is really bouncing right now. Marijampole, you probably need a double here. Shaolis looks for it. A little bit too strong on the release. Adetunji with the rebound. Hellison through the screen, the step back, lets it go. Adrian Van Tilburg grabbed that over two defenders. He is still fighting for a rebound. Marijampole with a chance. Shaolis with Nesta Agassi all over him. And Nesta Agassi puts enough pressure on Shaolis to lose that ball. Looks like Shaolis is the last one to touch it. And Nesta Agassi is letting them know. Utrecht within 8 seconds of getting one of the spots in the semifinals here in Quebec. Van Tilburg, Agassi, Tellison, another slam dunk. And Utrecht is up by 5. This is over. The last shot for Marijampole won't go. And Utrecht wins it 19-14, staying undefeated in this competition and reaching the semifinals. For Marijampole, the adventure is over. A 5-point loss against Utrecht. At the start, the two-pointer for Marijampole, then Tellison with the dunk. Tellison working on the defensive side too with that rejection. Shaolis escaping through the defense with that play. But later on, the bounce pass inside, Adetunji with the finish, right-hand layup from beyond the arc. Shaolis trying to keep his team in this game. That huge tip dunk by Tellison. And then unsportsmanlike conduct that led to 2 free throws for Nesta Agassi. Probably the key moment in that game because Marijampole was leading by 3. At that point, Nesta Agassi scored both of the free throws, scored again. Later on, the slam dunk for Ignas Labutis. We had a lot of dunks here during this game. Probably the most spectacular game when we're talking about elevation during this competition. Tellison, of course, was a man in a mission, putting the ball with authority into the hoop, play after play. Another one on that one. And then Nesta Agassi letting the opposing team know they will not be denied. So Utrecht is through, winning it against Marijampole. Dusseldorf LFDY and Podgorica Kodio coming up next here in Quebec. Stay with us. The game is about to start in a few moments.
Passons maintenant à la présentation des équipes pour cette dernière partie des quarts de finale. Représentant l'équipe de l'Allemagne, la ville de Dusseldorf. Le numéro 0, number 0, Kevin Bryan. Le numéro 1, number 1, Leon Furty. Le numéro 9, number 9, Florian Wendler. Et le numéro 3, number 3, Niklas Kopp. Et maintenant du côté de l'équipe de Podgorica. Le numéro 3, number 3, Marko Rajic. Le numéro 5, number 5, Milos Jokanovic. Le numéro 4, number 4, Petar Ivanovic. Et le numéro number 2, Alexa Mojadinovic. Podgorica, Kodio contre le LFDY, Dusseldorf.
One more spot left for the semifinals, and that is about to be played between Düsseldorf and Podgorica. Düsseldorf, a team that took everybody by surprise yesterday, especially when they defeated Lausanne, the number 2 seed in this competition, and the team who was coming after losing back-to-back finals in the FIBA 3x3 World Tour. 21-12 was the score there, and that was followed by another win against the locals, against Toronto, 21-15. Winning Group C, they're gonna face Podgorica, started with a bad loss against Miami, 21-9, but they were able to defeat the Latvian team of Adazi, 22-15, and here they are. We are underway. Düsseldorf for the first possession of this game. This is Brian trying to find Leon Furtick. He was the leader of his team, even though Leon Furtick is the youngest player for this Düsseldorf team. He was the top scorer yesterday with 7.5 points per game. Furtick here has to put it up. Got a piece of that rim, so that ball is still alive, but it will be awarded to Podgorica. Podgorica reached the semifinals in the Masters in Marseille this year. Now the penetration and the finish by Marko Rajic. Opening the first wound in this one. The bucket here will not count. That was not in the act of shooting for Bryant. They will have it from the top of the arc. And they're going to leave Florian Wendler, the tallest player on their squad, to control that. Bryant now finds Kropp. Offensive foul here, a moving screen. That's going to go against Düsseldorf. Podgorica getting the ball back. It's going to be Alexa Vujadinovic with the rock on the top of the arc. Jovanovic gives it inside, gets it back. Jovanovic wide open for 2. Fighting for the offensive rebound is Petar Ivanovic, and he did enough to keep that for Podgorica, throwing the ball into the opponent's body. And now they get it back here. Marko Rajic driving, but he's denied from behind by Bryant, who is converting himself into a tracking device and saying, "No stoop for you." Ivanovic, back to Rajic, lets it go. It rims out, Rajic gets it back, but Podgorica still on the attack. Ivanovic now trying to put a body on his opponent, and he protects that perfectly against a taller Wendler who had no chance to block him from behind this time. Podgorica up by 2. Second team foul against the Montenegrin team. Furtick, Wendler looks for Kropp, finds him here. Kropp off balance, up 1 foot. Looked like a Dirk Nowitzki shot, but did not go in. Probably he studied, arguably the best German player ever to put his hands on a basketball. The shot here is good by Milos Jovanovic, and Podgorica is dominating so far. Düsseldorf yet to score in this game. Nicholas Krop back to Ferdig, puts it up, and he knocks it down just like that. Leon Ferdig gives a lot of life to Dusseldorf, but meanwhile, Podgorica, thanks to Petar Ivanovic, adds another one on the board, escaping through the defense. From way outside, Niklas Krop still had 2 seconds on the shot clock, probably could have done a little bit better on that play, could have get closer to the rim. Maybe he was not aware of that, so he tried to save something for his team, and looks like it worked because Leon Ferdig got the rebound. He was fouled in the act of shooting. He's going to the free throw line, and he knocks it down. Backdoor pass here, great dish, courtesy of Petar Ivanovic, and Raicevic is saying, thank you very much, this is exactly what I've ordered for lunch. Bryant was inside there with the ball, but he lost it. Petar Ivanovic now getting away from the defender. Now you see me, now you don't, and finishing that with a left-hand layup. Kevin Bryant. Bryant with a hezzy, puts it up, no good. Vandler fights for the rebound. Raicevic tracks it down. Now Jovanovic trying to play some ISO basketball. Top balance shot, that won't go. Vandler with the rebound, and now we have a foul committed by Milos Jovanovic that will stop the play with 7 minutes and 20 seconds until the end of this one. Bryant. Ferdig back to Bryant. Great finding underneath the rim. And Kevin Bryant scored even though Jovanovic was trying to block him. The answer right away for the German team, that was Niklas Krop with the finish. Ball goes back here for an offensive foul, I think, or no, actually that was a foul against the German team, but not in the act of shooting, so that won't count. It stays 6-5 in favor of Düsseldorf. 6 minutes and 55 seconds left till the end of this game. The winner of this one will face Utrecht in the semifinals. The first semifinal will be played between Miami and Raudondvaris Hoptrans. Keep in mind that after this two-day extravaganza here in Quebec, the top 3 teams will qualify for the Debrecen Masters. That will be played on August 31st and September 1st in Hungary as part of the FIBA 3x3 World Tour. High stakes here for both teams, trying to get closer to that master. Raicevic lost is on his way to the basket, but looks like Brian had a foot on the line. I don't know why the shot clock was reset, because actually I don't think Brian had a clear possession of that ball, and the referees are taking care of that, setting the shot clock to only 6, so only 6 ticks for Podgorica. Milos Jovanovic here. Getting the ball on the top of the arc. Jovanovic puts it inside. Turn around, Jay. Good by Ivanovic. Milos Jovanovic and Petar Ivanovic really filling each other. 2-point advantage for Podgorica. Leon Ferdig trying to erase that, and he does. Nothing but net on that shot. Ivanovic. Back to Jovanovic. Once again, Ivanovic. 3 against 2. Ivanovic misses the shot, follows his own miss, and finally the ball gets into Milos Jovanovic's hands underneath the basket, and he puts that in off the glass. Leon Ferdig here was fouled as he was trying to escape from that traffic. Leon Ferdig, a player that helped Germany last year get the bronze medals at the FIBA 3x3 Under-23 World Cup. Vandler finding the open lane. Milos Jovanovic had no chance there to stop him. We are tied at 8. Ball goes back to Raicevic, but that's an offensive foul. Another illegal screen against Podgorica. And Düsseldorf, after the slow start, will have a chance here to get on top. Ferdig, Bryant, looks for Ferdig inside. Raicevic picks his pockets. What a great defensive play by Marko Raicevic, who even though was behind, reached and grabbed that ball. Big takeaway for Podgorica. Rajicevic gives it to Jovanovic, back to Ivanovic, pulls the trigger, empty bullet. Krop comes down with it, he puts it up, not wasting any time. Jovanovic with the rebound. Jovanovic keeping the dribble alive. He's looking for Petar Ivanovic wide open for two money. Podgorica up by two. Kevin Bryant back to Leon Furtick. Between the legs, puts it up. Nothing but air on that shot. The ball lands straight into Jovanovic's hands. And it will stay with Podgorica. That was pushed out of bounds. Keep in mind that Podgorica cannot foul anymore. He already reached the 6 fouls limit. Meanwhile, Dusseldorf can play a little bit more aggressive. They are pretty far away from getting into the penalty. Jovanovic here, no, that is a little bit too late. So the bucket won't count. Rajicevic able to score from beyond the arc, but the shot clock expired, just like a glass of milk that you forgot about outside of the fridge during this hot summer. Now Kevin Bryant getting closer to the bucket. Gives it to Florian Wendler. Misses the right-hand hook shot. Jovanovic with the rebound. Now the ball goes back to Ivanovic. He has wide open Vujadinovic who tries but will not try this time. Bryant comes down with it. Now Niklas Krop misses the shot. Wendler was fighting for the offensive rebound, but in the end it's Ivanovic who comes down with it, finding Jovanovic from way outside. That ricochet straight into Petar Ivanovic's hands, and Podgorica stays on the offense. 4 minutes and 28 seconds left. Still anybody's game. 10-8 in favor of Podgorica. As I mentioned before, Podgorica played in World Tour once this year. Reached the semifinals in Marseille. What a nasty crossover there. Petar Ivanovic lost him like a bag in a crowded airport. And now Ivanovic gets the steal for Podgorica. Gives it to Rajicevic. The lob pass inside. Vujadinovic escapes from Bryant and scores. Back-to-back buckets for Podgorica, who is up by 4. The lob pass inside. Wendler puts it up. Misses the shot. This is pushed into Ivanovic's hands, and now Rajicevic is fouled by Leon Furtick. 3 minutes and 52 seconds left. 4-point ball game. Podgorica on top. Probably a timeout that Dusseldorf LFDY really needed here. This German team took part of 3 challengers already this year. They have failed qualify for the World Tour Masters through that. They finished 7th in Hongqiang and 6th in Zhejiang. The Chinese challengers, they went to finish in the quarterfinals. They'll try to not repeat that. They'll try to reach at least the semifinals. They played semifinals in Clermont-Ferrand not long ago. Vujadinovic here. Rajicevic from mid-range. That goes to Bryant. Krop, Furtick. Can he be the hero again for Düsseldorf like he was yesterday? Leon Furtick with a step back, puts it up and puts it in right between the eyes of the defender. Jovanovic was all over him, but the defense was good. The offense was even better. Now Vujadinovic on the drive, the Euro step, and he draws the foul. He'll head to the charity stripe for one shot. What about that two-pointer by Leon Furtick moments ago? He had Vujadinovic all over him. Leon Furtick might be one of the next stars of 3x3 basketball if he keeps it like that. His game is improving tournament after tournament. We have to give credit to this kid. Missed shot by Krop. Rebound here for Ivanovic. Jovanovic with the screen. Ivanovic keeps the dribble alive. Another filthy crossover. Left-hand hook shot is no good. The ball ricochets straight to Vujadinovic, but that won't count. Shot clock expired before the shot, so Alexa Vujadinovic will not get the bucket here. Fertig, he can tie it with another double, but he looks inside for Vendeler, and that is nicely done. Vendeler connects with Fertig, cutting the lead in half. Now Marko Rajicevic through the screen. Rajicevic with the head, puts it inside, but Bryant fell all over him, and that's team foul number 6 for Düsseldorf too. From now on, both teams are in the bonus. Every single foul will be penalized with 2 free throws for the opposing team. Jovanovic, Rajicevic, had some space there, gives it to Ivanovic. He misses a 2-pointer, but Rajicevic tracks that down. Once again, Petar Ivanovic from outside. Yes! He won't miss on back-to-back attempts. And that's going to be a loose ball for Bryant, who says, that's my bad. That's my bad. I'm sorry. We're going to need to get that back through the defense. So Podgorica up by 3 with 2:25 to go. Gets the ball. Vujadinovic gives it here to Ivanovic. Jovanovic now finds Ivanovic and he knocks it down from beyond the arc. This is the biggest lead so far in this game. Podgorica up by 5 after Petar Ivanovic staying red hot from beyond the arc. Jovanovic lost it. Good defense by Bryant. I don't know why he didn't continue that drive. Now Fertig stops, pops. Won't drop, fights for the rebound, but he went all over his opponent. And that's a loose ball foul, so that's going to send Alexa Vujadinovic to the free throw line for 2 shots. As I mentioned before, both teams are over the limit, so Vujadinovic, the opportunity here to make it 7-point game in favor of Podgorica. The first one is good. One more coming up. And Vujadinovic knocks them both down. Fertig needs to put that in, and he does. Leon Fertig gives a little bit of life for Düsseldorf, trailing by 5 now. Delay of game warning here against Podgorica for letting that ball to roll, trying to milk the clock as much as possible. This is an experienced team. Podgorica also representing the national team of Montenegro in the national team competitions. Fortunately for them, they failed to qualify for the FIBA 3x3 Europe Cup that will take place at the end of August in the capital of Austria, Vienna. And looks like that's a technical foul in the end against Podgorica. So at the free throw line, Niklas Krap adds another point for Düsseldorf. So the worst thing that can happen for Podgorica happened. Allowed a 2-pointer, and then they were hit with a tech. Another point added for Düsseldorf. They're back into this. A 2-pointer here. The rebound goes to Bryant. Düsseldorf can cut even more into this deficit. Krap for 2. Money! Niklas Krap is making this a 1-possession ball game. Moments ago, Podgorica was up by 7, and they are up by 4 again. Cold-blooded shot by Petar Ivanovic, who's saying enough with that nonsense. Fertig now finds the open lane, finishes that. But of course, Alexa Vujadinovic with a lot of experience saying, you know what, I'm not going to foul here. Better let him score. We're going to have the ball back. Also, a 3-point buffer for them. And they can win it right here. Vujadinovic against Fertig. Good defense. Ivanovic getting closer to the rim, puts it up, misses the shot. Loose ball foul here against Düsseldorf. And this is almost over. A loose ball foul that will send Petar Ivanovic to the free throw line. So Ivanovic needs to score 1 out of 2 to wrap this up. And the first one rolls in. Podgorica is through. Petar Ivanovic giving his team the 21-17 win over Dusseldorf, and Podgorica will face Utrecht in the second semifinal. We have the schedule for the last four. Final four will be played in about 15 minutes. Lausanne versus Dusseldorf coming up next. No, my bad. That's going to be Miami versus Raudondvaris coming up next, followed by Utrecht versus Podgorica. The highlights for this game, Niklas Kropp with the floater here, putting the ball into the net. Later on, shot from outside that goes straight into the bucket for Podgorica. They were catching fire from outside. Marko Raicevic scoring there. That Ivanovic was also red hot from beyond the arc. The German team answering also from the land of plenty, Niklas Kropp. And that shot, scored by Petar Ivanovic, sealed the deal for Podgorica. 21-17 the final score. Miami versus Raudondvaris Hoptrans coming up next. The first semifinal will start in 15 minutes. Stay here with us on the FIBA 3x3 YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying. Work with us, not against us.
BMW Series, classique 3x3 OK, Québec, on va commencer la première demi-finale, mais avant, s'assurer que tout le monde est en forme, tout le monde est prêt à encourager nos équipes. Alors, je vous invite à faire un maximum de bruit, s'il vous plaît. Please make some noise for these semifinals. Allez, plus fort, la classique 3x3 de la finale, on est maintenant rendu aux demi-finales. Les athlètes qui ont performé et qui se sont qualifiés pour ces demi-finales, qui vont donner tout un show devant vous. Dans les prochaines minutes, nous avons l'équipe de Miami, également l'équipe de la Lituanie, la Raudondvaris, Hoptrans. Deux équipes qui connues jusqu'à maintenant de roi exceptionnel. Deux équipes très bien classées également. On vous présente à l'instant tout d'abord représentant Miami, le team Miami. Numéro 6, number 6, champion, Barry. Numéro 7, number 7, Travis. Numéro 9, number 9, Kareem Maddox. Et le numéro 5, number 5, Jenner Fredwell. Team Miami. Et là, pour Raudondvaris, 6, number 6, Marius Uberlandia. Numéro 3, number 3, Evandas Dionis. Numéro 8, Modestas Kupis. Et numéro 1, number 1, Kodis Eliavicius. De la Lituanie, Raudondvaris.
And then there were four. Miami and Raudondvaris are the teams to meet in the first semifinal here in Quebec, the 2024 FIBA 3x3 Quebec Challenger. Miami undefeated in the competition, started with a win against the Dazi 21-18 and then defeated Podgorica Kodio 21-9. They made it look so easy against the number 2 seed here in Quebec in the quarterfinals, 21-11 against Lausanne. On the other hand, Raudondvaris started with an 18-14 win against Calabasas, but they lost to Utrecht 16-15 and they needed a very good game against the Brazilian team of Uberlandia to reach the semifinals. Also, this should be an offensive feast. The top three scorers in the competition are from those two teams. Jimmer Fredette, the top scorer here in Quebec with a 10.7 points per game. He's a walking bucket. I don't think I have to mention that you have to keep an eye on him. On the other hand, we have Evaldas Jaugis and Evaldas Shaulis with 8.7 points per game. They are coming up next to Fredette, and they are actually splitting the second spot in the top scorers here in Quebec. So this should be good. This should be a game with a lot of fireworks. Also, don't forget Modestas Kumpis, who was one of the most spectacular players during this Quebec Challenger. A lot of slam dunks offered by Kumpis. Is going to be a big factor here if Raudondvaris wants to defeat Miami. This is the fifth time when these two teams are meeting in the Pro Tour starting back in 2023. All the games won by Miami. 3 meetings last year in Macau, Lausanne, and Debrecen. All of those games won by Miami. They also met at the opening of the season in Utsunomiya. Miami won that too. And Miami starts on offense. The ball goes inside, and we already have a foul. Looks like it was committed by Ujupis. That's going to be against Raudondvaris. No, my bad. Paulius Beliavicius is the one guilty for that foul. Dylan Travis here for Jimmer Fredette. That keeping the dribble alive, the bounce pass inside, and that's a dish for Canyon Berry, who says the room service is perfect here in Quebec as long as Mr. Fredette is taking care of that. The bucket will not count. Offensive foul. High elbow here against Marius Ujupis. Team foul number 2 already for Raudondvaris Hoptrans. Travis. Fredette. Maddox sets the screen. Travis gives another one to Fredette. The ball is deflected and intercepted by Kumpis. Great defense here by Modestas Kumpis, who finds Jaugis. He goes straight through the cup and scores over Dylan Travis, taking advantage of the high that he has over him. The lob pass inside to Maddox, and Maddox puts it in against Jaugis. That might be a key matchup there in the paint. Jaugis versus Maddox. 2-point attempt comes up short for Ujupis. Dylan Travis was trying to reach that ball. It was last touched by a Miami player, so it will stay with Raudondvaris. This is Kumpis. Gives it to Beliavicius. Back to Kumpis. Lets it go. Way off. But he finds the ball back, puts it up, misses the second attempt too, and finally Kareem Maddox comes down with it. Barry. That was not in the act of shooting. The foul committed by Marius Ujupis had the idea of stopping Kenyon Barry, of getting closer to the rim. Jimmer Fredette. Maddox with the screen. Fredette on the drive, gives it to Maddox. Extra pass here to Barry. Fakes it, shoots it, comes up short. But that ball got deflected by Jaugis, who was not able to absorb it in his palm. So it will give a fresh shot block to Miami, and the ball from the 3x3 logo. Fredette here, the top scorer of the tournament with a fake. Nicely done, and the dish to Kenyon Barry, who is saying, keep it going, Mr. Fredette. I want a feast today. From way outside is Kumpis. Looks like Raudondvaris did enough to keep the possession, but that looked a little bit forced. Plenty of time on the shot block. Modestas Kumpis trying to go for a long two-pointer. That was not even close. Ujupis. Beliavicius, wide open from outside. It bounces on the rim, and the putback is good, courtesy of Evaldas Jaugis. Now the spin here and the reverse layup from Dylan Travis. Jaugis stops in the paint, puts it up. It rolls out. And Kareem Maddox grabs the rebound. Maddox back to Fredette, who escapes against Paulius Veljavicius and lays it in with the right hand. 5-2 in favor of Miami. Now Marius Ujupis against Maddox. That was a little bit too strong. Did not touch anything. 7 minutes and 37 seconds left. But looks like Maddox got a piece of that. They're adding some time on the shot clock. So let's see how much they will have. 0.3 of a second. Exactly the minimum amount of time that you can catch it and shoot it. But Kumpis has to do it in one motion here. Oh no, they're adding more. 1.7 seconds. Now you can dribble. Kumpis letting it fly from the 3x3 logo. That almost went in, but well protected by Kenyon Berry. That coconut rolls outside of the real estate, and that will be awarded Miami. Barry here. Driving on the left hand, and he finds the open lane, putting Miami up by 4. Game is stopped here for a foul. Great drive moments ago by Barry. Big resume for Barry, also in the national team competition, playing for the United States of America. Former gold medalist at the FIBA 3x3 World Cup. Talking about turning on the Jets. Modestas Kumpis with another dunk. This is exactly what he showed us during the entire Quebec Challenger. And Kumpis once again finding the ladder, getting Raudondvaris down by only 3. Canyon Berry here for Jim or Fredette. Lost it, but keeps it in bounds. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Fredette needs to put it up, find something there. That ball did not touch the iron. It will be a shot clock violation, and it will be awarded to Raudondvaris. Jaugis. Ujupis. Back to Kumpis. Kumpis through the screen. Stops. Accelerates again. Puts it up. Maddox comes down with it. And looks like we have a technical foul here. For technical foul against Raudondvaris. Canyon Berry will head to the free throw line. One shot for Miami. And Berry, with that unorthodox free throw, puts it in for the American team. And we also have a timeout. It's talking about Canyon Berry and the fact that he won the gold medal of the FIBA 3x3 World Cup back in 2019. 2 more gold medals at the FIBA America in 2021 and 2022. Silver medalist last year, the FIBA America, also with the national team of the United States. Him and Kareem Maddox were teammates back in 2019 when the United States won the last FIBA 3x3 World Cup before the COVID pandemic. Now Fredette's trying to escape. He is fouled by Veljavicius. That's already team foul number 5 against Raudondvaris. As I mentioned, committed by Veljavicius, bronze medalist, the FIBA 3x3 Europe Cup back in 2019 with Lithuania. Another team foul now against Miami. Veljavicius, oldest player in this Lithuanian team, lets it go from outside and hits. A little bit of a friendly bounce, but he'll take it. This is a one-possession ball game now. Maddox inside, trying to take care of business. That ball gets out of there, but again, Kareem Maddox follows it. And with a second chance attempt, he knocks it down for Miami. Right-hand hook shot, nicely done by Valdas Jaugis, taking advantage of his high advantage. Now Travis on the move, tough shot, and he puts it in. Dylan Travis was pushed when he attempted that, but was able to absorb the contact and knocking it down. I cannot say the same thing against four Jaugis, but Jaugis fights for the rebound. So at least he keeps the ball for Raudondvaris with 11 ticks on the shot clock. Kumpis will have it from up top. Back to Kumpis. Ball goes inside. Somebody has to put a fork in it, and it is Jimmer Fredette who comes up with it. Fredette now threads the middle, and Dylan Travis scores again. Fredette, more of a facilitator during this semifinal than a scorer, knowing that everybody is focusing on him and on his 2 pointers. And right now, he is taking the right decisions, finding his teammates every single time, and giving them the ball in great positions to score. Jaug is here. Beljavicius from outside against Maddox. That won't go, but Beljavicius tracks it down. Jaugis again to Beljavicius, trying to find the open lane, and that goes out of bounds, out of his knee. Good defense by Miami. All ball, says the referee. So Miami up by 4, going to get the ball back. Jimmer Fredette. Fredette here. Misses a 2-pointer. The rebound goes to Modestas Kumpis, and we have a foul against Ujupis, who's trying to plead his case, saying that he was in the shooting motion. The refs are not going to agree with that. Team foul number 4 against Miami. And Paulius Beljavicius gets it from 3x3 logo. Beljavicius is trying to find Ujupis inside. That was stolen by Fredette. Threading the needle this time is Dylan Travis. Straight into Kenyon Berry's hands, who says, thank you very much. I'm going to take that one too, the reverse layup. 11-6 the score here, a foul committed by Fredette. Team foul number 5, we are even on this aspect of the game. Both teams with only one foul to give before getting into the penalty. The takeaway, Travis and Kareem Maddox turning on the Jets. 12-6 in favor of Miami. 2-point attempt denied. Kenyon Berry staying right with Evaldas Jaugis. Jaugis is not a 2-point player, not his specialty. Usually playing in the post where he does a great job. But right here, he was denied by Berry. Kumpis lost his defender on the way to the bucket. Lost him exactly like I said before, like a luggage in a crowded airport. But Jimmer Fredette here gets the open lane and finishes it against Kumpis. Now Beljavicius. Maddox all over him. Paulius Beljavicius with the spin goes straight to the hoop, but there is Maddox, who was higher than Snoop D-O-double-G. And you know you're in trouble when Fredette puts up the double. 2-pointer for Miami. And just like that, defense turns into offense. Maddox with a rejection, Fredette with a 2-pointer. And Miami is up by as many as 8. Kumpis gets it back here. Kumpis finds Jaugis from outside. Ujupis knocks it down. And Raudondvaris finds some life in this one. Trailing by 6. Kenyon Berry buries it. Once again, Miami with an 8-point lead. This is the biggest gap so far between those two teams when we have reached the second TV timeout of the game. 3 minutes and 41 seconds left. Second semifinal coming up next here on the FIBA 3x3 YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Utrecht versus Podgorica Kodio playing for the second spot in the final. Once again, that slam dunk for Maddox, former gold medalist of the FIBA 3x3 World Cup. And look at that block. Maddox acting like a wall next to the rim, not letting anything easy to go in for this Raudondvaris team who is trailing by 8. Kumpis, Biljavicius, back to Kumpis with a shot block down to 5. Kumpis through the screen, gives it inside, and Jaugis misses it against Fredette. Fredette already was thinking that he's going to receive a basket, but Jaug is missing that surprisingly. Fredette Maddox, he is wide open and he will not miss. Kareem Maddox taking care of business from outside too. He is all over the court. Tough shot by Biljavicius. Rejected by Fredette. Maddox back to Fredette. Looks for Barry, keeps the dribble alive, lobs it inside, and Barry is fouled by Paulius Biljavicius with 3 minutes left. 19-9 in favor of Miami. This is not even close. Miami with a firm grip on that lead. This is a double-digit lead, and we have a timeout called by Raudondvaris. Trying to protect the damage a little bit, but they are far behind, and I don't think they have a big enough ladder to come back from this hole. Maddox here scoring from the outside. Miami now within 1 of winning this game after the steal and the bucket from Dylan Travis. Ujupis looks for 2. That won't go. Fredette with the rebound. Gives it inside to Maddox, turns, fires, up and under, and that will do it for Miami. The madman asking, where's my foul? But that doesn't matter anymore. 21-9 in favor of Miami. This was an old-fashioned blowout. This is not the qualifying draw. This is not the main draw. This is the semifinal, but Miami is still dominating here in Quebec. It started with that bucket from Evaldas Jaugis. Then the finish from Dylan Travis. Later on, the backdoor pass and Kumpis turning on the Jets. A spectacular play by Kumpis, but that was not enough. Technical foul and unorthodox shot by Kenyon Berry, but that was good enough for a bucket. Then threading the needle was Jimmer Fredette finding Travis inside. Travis, moments later, returning the favor, this time getting it to Kenyon Barry, who lays it in with the left hand. And Kareem Maddox was served. He was saying, you know what, I'm going to go high up over the rim. Then Maddox getting high again, this time on the defensive side of the play. 2-pointer later on for Raudondvaris, answered right away for Miami. Kareem Maddox also scoring from beyond the arc, and then Maddox putting the finishing touch on this superb win in favor of the American team, who is now through. 21-9 the final score. Second semifinal between Utrecht and Podgorica Kodio coming up next in a little bit more than 5 minutes. So until then, stay here with us on the FIBA 3x3 YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow us on FIBA 3x3 on every single social media platform out there. And as I like to say, work with us, not against us. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Miami is through one more spot in the final here at the Quebec Challenger in 2024. Utrecht versus Podgorica Kodio facing up in a few moments. Podgorica started with a loss against Miami. They would love a rematch of that. Deanna Jackson and Glenn Tuitt, the referees for this game. It was 21-19 in favor of Miami, so not a good start for Podgorica, but they were able to defeat Adazi in a win and survive game during the Group A. After that, they eliminated in the quarterfinals Dusseldorf by the score of 21-17. On the other hand, we have Utrecht still undefeated, 16-15 against Raudondvaris, 21-13 versus Calabasas in the group stage of the competition, and then 19-14 versus Marijampole Mantinga in the quarterfinals. Utrecht with the first possession of the game. Norbert Tellison, spectacular so far in the competition. We'll have it here at the 3x3 logo, 7.7 points per game. He is the top scorer of this Dutch team. For Podgorica, best scorer is Petar Ivanovic, 6.3 points per game so far during the 3 games in this competition. We are still a few seconds away from the first check ball. They have to wait for the official time, and we are ready to go. Norbert Tellison with the rock in his hands, attacking the basket on the first play of the game, and Petar Ivanovic is the one who follows that, gives it here to Raicevic. Raicevic waits for the screen, the bounce pass to Ivanovic, top shot, but he draws the foul committed by Adrian van Tilburg, saying, yep, that's my bad. So Van Tilburg commits the foul here, sending Petar Ivanovic the free throw line, and he cannot put it in. The rim is still sealed for both teams. Adetunji up for Agassi, and he puts it in. First bucket of the game, and now the grab from behind against Jovanovic. Was trying to take advantage on that position down low. Jovanovic here, the lob inside, and the denial by Nesta Agassi. Petar Ivanovic trying to say that he was pushed, but the referee doesn't want to hear about it. Jovanovic again behind the back pass, leaving Vujadinovic wide open for 2. That won't go, but they get it back, and Jovanovic gives Podgorica the first bucket of this game. Van Tilburg wide open for 2. It rims out. Jovanovic comes down with it, finds Vujadinovic. Now the turn, the shot, and the miss from Petar Ivanovic, and another offensive board. Counted plus the foul. This time Alexa Vujadinovic able to absorb the contact, and he will head to the free throw line for a possible 2-point play. Three in a row for Podgorica. Agassi, Tellison. Agassi sets the screen. That's high up in the air. Agassi reached that, but he did not have enough gas to push it enough to get it into the hoop. Now Vujadinovic to Raicevic. Raicevic through the screen, lets it go, comes up short. That goes straight into Vujadinovic's hands, and he had enough time to order an espresso and then send that exactly like that, short and fast, into the hoop. 5-1 in favor of Podgorica. Agassi turns and scores for Utrecht. Second bucket of the game for the Dutch team. Raicevic looking inside for Petar Ivanovic. The shot bounces on the rim twice. It is rebounded by Norbert Tellison. And now the game is stopped for a foul away from the basketball. Good start for Podgorica. As I said before, they are looking for a rematch in the final against Miami, the team that dominated the competition so far. Miami defeated Podgorica 21-9 in the very first game in the main draw. Tellison now trying to get closer to the basket. Marko Raicevic was putting the hand in his pocket, but looks like that was illegal. That's a foul against Rajicevic, team foul number 2 against Podgorica. And they're going to get another one. This time committed by Ivanovic, team foul number 3. Inside is Van Tilburg, gives it back to Tellison. Tellison now looks for Van Tilburg. He gets it in the corner, but he is denied. Where did you think you're going to attempt that? Was the message for Ivanovic, who dishes it in for Jovanovic. And he knocks it down from the paint. Podgorica still dominating. Utrecht doesn't look like the team who was so good during this tournament. Agassi able to draw the contact here, and he will head to the free throw line. Also, I'd like to inform you that after this game, we're going to have a half-hour break in order to give the second semifinalist gets the win enough time to recover for the final, and then we're going to be back with the last game of the competition. Great kick out here, Rajicevic from the corner. That one go, but Vujadinovic is there to recycle the attack for Podgorica. Back to Rajicevic. He was trying to escape. Agassi pushed that ball from behind. It will stay with Podgorica. 2.8 seconds on the shot clock. Also, a spot in the final means a spot at the FIBA 3x3 World Tour Master in Debrecen. First 3 teams in this competition qualify, so teams that are going to play the final are going to be there in Hungary at the end of August and the start of September. Miami already there. Now Ivanovic from outside knocks it down. Petar Ivanovic stays red hot, exactly like he was during that quarterfinal where Podgorica eliminated Dusseldorf. Tellison was looking for the foul. The game goes on. No call on that layup. Rajicevic here, keeping the dribble alive, off balance shot. It rolls in, a little bit of a lucky bounce, but he'll take it. Van Tilburg fights for position down low. Tellison puts up the prayer. That is deflected by Ivanovic, but out of bounds. So Utrecht will get it back, down by 6 after the first timeout of this game. Podgorica looking good so far. That was a nice play there for Agassi, but right here, way too open. Vujadinovic will make you pay if he's going to shoot that wide open from beyond the arc. And then another shot from outside for this Podgorica team. During this season, as I mentioned before, reached the semifinals in Marseille at the World Tour. They would love to go back to the World Tour. They would love to qualify for Debrecen. A win here would be enough. Of course, they will fight for the dub in the final against Miami. But the first objective is to get to Debrecen. Agassi here against Vujadinovic. Gives it to Adetunji. 2-pointer comes up short. Vujadinovic. Ivanovic. Driving. That's a foul against Utrecht. Playing volley basketball here. Petar Ivanovic heading to the free throw line now for a chance to give Podgorica a 7-point lead. Podgorica started as the number 8 seed in this competition. Utrecht was 7th. One of those 2 teams will play against the number 1 seed Miami in the final. Adetunji in the post for Agassi, who's taking care of business this time. Ivanovic, a pass inside for Vujadinovic, but that is denied by Van Tilburg. Great defense, but he lost it as he was trying to get closer to the rim after the clear out. So giving the ball back to Podgorica, and they might take advantage. Rajicevic is fouled on the act of shooting, and he will head to the free throw line. Podgorica so far pretty sharp from the free throw line, utilizing these opportunities. Rajicevic, this is what happens when you're talking too good about a team, shooting from the free throw line. Usually they miss it right on the very next play. I hope I did not jinx them. So I must say that was my bad. Foul here against Podgorica. And Olushi Adetunji is now heading to the free throw line to attempt a shot. Adetunji with 30 games played in the Pro Tour before this tournament, 10 wins, 20 losses for him. He played 10 times in the World Tour, winning 4 out of those 10 games. He also missed the free throws, so we're all even with that. Podgorica gets it back. Vujadinovic looks for Ivanovic. Jovanovic sets the screen and gets a hand off here. Jovanovic, I think Van Tilburg got a piece of that, so that was denied, but the ball got taken away back for Podgorica. Petar Ivanovic playing amazing defense here, keeping the dribble alive against Agassi. Game is stopped. We have a foul. Foul number 6 against Utrecht. Both teams over the limit from now on, and we did not reach the midpoint of this game. Aggressive play in the second semifinal. Who can take advantage of the bonus now? Stays with Podgorica here, but looks like Nesta Agassi took a hit in his face. He's down on the court, not being able to get up, seeing that he was hit in the jaw. Probably he needs some medical attention, but I don't see any doctor yet to rush on the court. That was the play. I'm not really sure that hit was intentional, but he took an elbow from Petar Ivanovic, and he is really feeling that. He is still down. Not the side we'd like to see in any sport, but 3x3 basketball, as you know, is a pretty physical sport, probably more physical than regular basketball. Also, the referees are putting an emphasis on letting that physical play on the court, and sometimes things like this happen. Utrecht down by 6. If they would be down by 1 man, I think they're almost done. Nesta Agassi here with the basket at the start of the game, followed by the 2-pointer for Podgorica. It was Petar Ivanovic scoring from outside. Agassi again in the post this time against Vujadinovic. And then that play where Nesta took a hit. I don't see anything dirty there. I'm not really sure how bad that hit was, but judging by the fact that Nesta is still down, I think that got him in a soft spot in the jaw or in the neck. Well, Nesta looks to be okay. He's gonna take a sit. Of course, he got medical attention, so must be replaced at least for 1 play. But Podgorica will still have the ball. Probably still a lot of wet spots there on the court. This is also dangerous because you can slip. This Enleo court is absolutely great for 3x3 basketball, but when it gets wet, it is really slippery. It's like ice, and I think Canadians know a lot of things about ice. Ice hockey being by far the #1 sport here in Canada. Us. Marko Rajicevic is once again driving and thriving. Talking about ice hockey, Edmonton Oilers almost got the Stanley Cup back to Canada, failing though to win game number 7 against the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup final after being down 3-0. They came back, becoming the 5th NHL team to tie it up at 3. Getting back to 3x3 basketball, we have Jovanovic, who puts a bad pass, and Utrecht takes advantage. After the interception, Van Tilburg with an easy finish underneath the rim. Now Rajicevic. A hesitation, kicks it out from mid-range. The shot was missed by Petar Ivanovic, and that ball goes out of bounds. Nesta Agassi back into the game after taking that hit moments ago. Tellison to Agassi. Once again, he is there, close to the rim with the finishing touch. 11-7 the score. This is far from over. Petar Ivanovic creating some space, puts it up over Tellison. Offensive rebound by Jovanovic. He is fighting with Agassi and scoring off the glass. Agassi again. Tellison here from way outside. That got the back of the iron. It was rebounded by Petar Jovanovic, who finds Vujadinovic here. The handoff to Jovanovic. Vujadinovic with the screen. Jovanovic puts it up. Vujadinovic gets it back for Podgorica. Fresh shot block. So the offense continues here. The step back by Ivanovic, nicely done. Finding wide open in the paint, Alexa Vujadinovic, and he is taking care of business in the key. 13-7 for Podgorica. Kick ball. Petar Ivanovic doing anything in his power to not let that ball get through. And we have reached the second TV timeout. Pretty one-sided so far. This is exactly like the first semifinal went. Miami dominating and winning at a score of 21-9 against the Raudondvaris Hoptrans. 21-9 was the score between Miami and Podgorica. Of course, Miami, by adding back Kareem Maddox in the roster, is a very tough rock. Pretty hard to beat them with this roster. They might be the favorites for the Paris Olympics, but you never know. That is coming up at the end of July and at the start of August. Cannot wait for the Olympic tournament, but until then, a lot of 3x3 basketball is about to be played. All the official competitions might be followed live here on the FIBA 3x3 YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Rajicevic here, giving to Jovanovic. He puts it up. Not even close this time, but the shot block was about to expire, so he had to force that. Too high here for Van Tilburg. Bad pass by Nesta Agassi, and that's another turnover for Utrecht. Ivanovic through the screen, trying to keep the dribble alive. Great hustle there. Van Tilburg grabs that ball after sacrificing his body. And now Adetunji splits the defense. And the throwdown from Norbert Tellison. This is the first dunk in the semifinal for him. He was a dunking machine during this tournament. The lob pass inside. Vujadinovic taking care of business over Van Tilburg. Now Van Tilburg back to Adetunji. 6-point ball game. Bad pass intercepted by Petar Ivanovic. Ivanovic with a double crossover, keeps it in his hands, and an offensive foul is about to be called. Petar Ivanovic saying, I didn't do anything wrong, just protecting the ball with my body. But the referees are not going to agree with that, so that's going to be team foul number 7 against Podgorica. Of course, no penalty. The foul was on offense, but Utrecht gets the ball back. Nesta Agassi trying to escape against 2 defenders, puts it up, and he scores from underneath the basket. Rajicevic, the hezi, the kick out. Jovanovic for 2, comes up short, but that goes out of bounds, I think, off Van Tilburg's foot, so Podgorica should have it. We also have a timeout here with 1 minute and 38 seconds left until the end of the game. A 5-point ball game. This doesn't mean that much in 3x3 basketball. We witnessed comebacks from bigger leagues than that. 1 minute and 38 seconds in a fast-paced game like 3x3 basketball with a 12-second shot clock is not something that can assure you that you are already winning this game. But so far, I have to give credit to this Podgorica team. They played very good basketball and they dominated this one. Ivanovic. Teleson defends him. Ivanovic through the screen. Was looking for Vujadinovic. Got stolen. Good deflection by Agassi. Teleson came down with it. Now Van Tilburg with the crossover. Where did he go? But are you kidding me? He misses that from point blank range with no opposition. You cannot come back in a game with misses like that. Maybe Agassi from outside. Nothing but air on that shot. Double opportunity missed by Utrecht. Van Tilburg cannot believe it, but he is checking out of the game. He did everything right, but you know the rule. Operation was a success. The patient died. Right here, Adinovic doesn't have that much of a leap. Finish a pass like that. They are still on offense. Jovanovic creating a lot of space, puts it up. That won't go. Adetunji with the rebound from the corner for two. Offensive rebound, and Teleson adds another point for Utrecht. They're not done. They are 2 possessions behind. So Podgorica should be aware. Jovanovic now lobs it inside. The missed shot on the first attempt, but Ivanovic scoring on the second one. Now it's pretty hard for Utrecht. They need a double, that's for sure. Teleson lets it fly. Comes up short. Jovanovic with the rebound. They're trying to milk the clock here. We have a 5-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Now a foul committed by Teleson to send Petar Ivanovic to the free throw line. Sometimes I don't understand tactics like that. If you are considering to foul, then foul during the very first seconds on the shot clock. Don't let the shot clock run down because you are also wasting some time. Of course, Utrecht right now needs a miracle to win this game. It's almost impossible to come back from 6 points with only 8 seconds to go. But talking in theory, there are other games where the differential is way closer. 2 out of 2 for Petar Ivanovic. Adetunji puts it up. Jovanovic with the rebound. Between the leg pass, Petar Ivanovic, and 17-10 is the final score. Podgorica will face Miami in a rematch of the very first game of the tournament. So maybe we should have called it a day after the first game. It will be clear after the outcome of the final. Miami and Podgorica will face again in the final. Here are the highlights for the second semifinal. Agassi scoring for Utrecht, then the 2-pointer for Ivanovic, Vujadinovic from outside. Also from the inside later on, the 2-pointer by Petar Ivanovic. Nesta Agassi working in the post, adding another point for Podgorica. The drive by Raicevic, nicely done. Bounce pass inside here, Van Tilburg with an easy bucket. And then Teleson lobbing it up for Nesta Agassi, who knocks it down. Also, Agassi, spectacular on that finish. Took a hit later on, was able to come back into the game. Threading the needle was Norbert Teleson. Was the pass for Norbert Teleson, who flushes it down here. The only dunk he had during this game after having a huge amount of them during the first 2 days of the competition. But in the end, an easy win for Podgorica. So we are all set. The final, Miami versus Podgorica, coming up next in around 30 minutes. Stay here with us or go grab something to eat, something cold to drink. Get your popcorn ready and come back in about 30 minutes. We gonna be here in Quebec with the final, Miami versus Podgorica. Stay with us.
C'était le MVP du match de la semaine régulière. Et en plus de ça, c'est un gars qui va mettre le parti en place. Il est accompagné avec Eman, Ketnos et Caroline dans le basket. Et là, sur le court, on vous livrer toutes les prestations. Mesdames et messieurs, faites le maximum de bruit. Make some noise. Ketno, Eman! Hey, hey! What's up, what's up, what's up? What's up? I'm on one! En fait, I think you know that ball. Yes, we say hola, hola, hola! Plus fort, c'est on est encore là! Ok, beaucoup plus fort, c'est hola, hola, hola! C'est on est encore là! Yo, faites plus pour tous les jeunes qui ont joué toute la journée, qui ont suivi sur les cours ici. Bravo à vous, bravo aux parents qui les suivent. C'est bon, bon. Québec, officiellement une ville de basket de Lausanne. Yeah! Hey! Woo! Hey! Make a shot. I'm down to take it right back. Shot. Ready, one, two, three. Zip, right back. Shot. Fuck, the left side, come. The long chance. You drink but who felt like she's still on style. Cause I'm doing this today from day one. Took the bitch from down. I'm a big up player. Cause I lost your lane. Cause I'm doing this from day one. Took the bitch from down. I'm a big up player. Cause I lost your lane. Hey, woo! Ça fait mon beaucoup de messages. What you say? Hey, hey. Yeah, all time. Yeah. Who knows? Make a shoot. Make you push up. Make a good feeling. Make a shoot. Make you push up. Make a good feeling. Make a shoot. Make you push up. Make a good feeling. Make a shoot. Make you push up. Shoot. Tout ce qui Look cette journée. On doit que demain, il y a l'événement FIBA, donc la finale, en fait, les quarts de finale qui commencent à partir de 14h30. On va mettre l'équipe du Québec, c'est l'équipe de quart de finale. Chez les femmes, donc venez encourager nos athlètes demain, mais là, dans les prochaines minutes. Ce qu'on aura pour vous ici, sur le court principal, la grande finale entre Team Miami et l'équipe de Podgorica. DJ Mexican est là pour vous accompagner à cette version 3x3 de la finale. Il en reste un match aujourd'hui. One game left today. Team Miami contre Team Podgorica. Présentation des joueurs. Team Miami. Le numéro 6, number 6, Canyon Berry. Number 7, Dylan Travis. Number 9, Kareem Maddox. Et numéro 5, number 5, Jenner Rockets. Team Miami. Et du côté de l'équipe Podgorica, numéro 3, Marco Rajcevic. Numéro 5, number 5, Milos Jovanovic. Numéro 4, number 4, Petar Ivanovic. Et numéro 2, number 2, Alexa Vojvodinovic. Équipe du Monténégro, Podgorica.
This is the final of the FIBA 3x3 2024 Québec Challenger. Miami and Podgorica will play for the title here after meeting at the very start of the competition. Miami and Podgorica played in the group stage. Miami won 21-9 that score. After defeating Gadazi, they stayed undefeated. They won against Lausanne 21-11 in the quarterfinals, and they won against Raudondvaris Hoptrans in the semifinals 21-9. So, except that first game against the Dazi, Miami had no trouble of destroying their opponents during this challenger. On the meantime, Podgorica had to defeat Dazi only to make it to the quarterfinals. They won that 22-15, and today they eliminated Dusseldorf LFDY 21-17 and Utrecht 17-10. And we are underway once again. Hello, everybody. My name is Cosmin Petrescu. It is a pleasure and an honor to be your voice for this amazing game that starts with a double for Marko Raicevic, who puts it in from beyond the arc. Dylan Travis fouled from behind. He'll have to go to the free throw line. Nothing easy is the message probably for Podgorica as we are rewatching that two-pointer. On live, it was awesome. On the replay, it will blossom. This is what I like to say during plays like that. So, Dylan Travis at the free throw line knocks it down for Miami. Miami basically here in Quebec with the roster that will represent United States of America at the Paris Olympics in the 3x3 men's basketball competition. Vujadinovic here misses the two-pointer. That was not far to go in. Jimmer Fredette here with the ball. The top scorer of the tournament, the floater and the bucket. 9 points per game for Jimmer. A total of 37, including that one that gave Miami the tie. Fredette here putting the arm on his opponent and sending Petar Ivanovic to the free throw line for one shot. Once again, the finish for Jimmer Fredette. He is trying to get in his best shape before the Olympics. Fredette, of course, part of that team that won the gold medal at the FIBA 3x3 America 2 years ago and the silver medal at the World Cup last year. Kareem Maddox missing the shot from outside. He was pretty sharp during this competition. And now Raicevic wide open again. That's the second double for Marko Raicevic, who is making Miami paying the price. Kenyon Barry, bully basketball right there, putting the shoulder on his opponent and muscling his way into the paint. Now Petar Ivanovic with the dance, lets it go. Barry with the rebound. Good defense by Ivanovic, who pushed that ball out of Barry's hands. Barry's asking how come that was not a foul. No call on that play. Once again, the double for Marko Raicevic. Two two-pointers already for Raicevic, who is filling it at the start of this game. For that here, the bounce pass to Maddox, and he uses his body as a shield to keep Jovanovic away from him. On the other hand, Barry fouls Vujadinovic. And looks like the foul was called on Jimmer Fredette. This is the last play where Kareem Maddox finished that with the reverse layup. So Alexa Vujadinovic at the free throw line, trying to give Podgorica a 2-point advantage in this final. No problem for him. Barry with the ball. Trying to get closer to the rim, and he lost it. Once again, Barry complaining of the physical play of this Montenegrin team. Podgorica basically with the roster that represented Montenegro in the national team competition, including the Bucharest qualifier for the FIBA 3x3 Europe Cup in Vienna. That will take place in Austria at the end of August, after the Olympics. Now Jovanovic gives it to Ivanovic. Back to Jovanovic, and I don't think they're on the same page. Ivanovic is saying, you know what, that ball got deflected. The opponent got a piece of that. He's asking for a challenge, but this is a challenger. This is not a world tour, so he will not have any. Jimmer Fredette here with the dribble. He lost him like a bag in a crowded airport and puts it in. Raicevic cannot answer from the corner. Filthy crossover by Jimmer, and he puts it in and puts the 8-ball to the corner pocket. The crowd goes wild as Petar Ivanovic is driving and driving. Travis trying to do the same thing, and he draws the foul. Wow, Jimmer Fredette showing his moves right here. Where did you go, Mr. Raicevic? Was that a squat? I don't think that's a good technique. Jimmer Fredette sent him to see if there are some Canadian cents there on the court. Meanwhile, the miss from the free throw from Dylan Travis. The game stays tied. Rajicevic back to Jovanovic, who drives, but he will not get the friendly roll. Podgorica gets it back. Vujadinovic misses it too. Jovanovic gets another chance over Maddox. I think he was afraid of that block. And after another miss by Vujadinovic, the game is finally stopped for a foul against Miami. Multiple opportunities wasted by Podgorica on that play, but thankfully for them, they got the foul on the shot attempt by Alexa Vujadinovic, and now Vujadinovic heads to the free throw line with a chance to give his team a 1-point lead. 5 points per game so far for Vujadinovic, who misses the free throw. The top scorer for Podgorica was Petar Ivanovic with 6.3 points per game so far. Now we have a foul against Podgorica. Fredette, Jimmer from outside. Travis grabs that rebound over Ivanovic and he puts it in. Looked like the plastic man on that play, and Rajicevic now gets the bucket after the dish from Petar Ivanovic. Now Kenyon Berry behind the back pass by Travis. Berry for two, right on cue. Another spectacular play by Miami. Vujadinovic kicks it out. Jovanovic misses the shot, and that's going to be a foul, a loose ball foul, as we have reached the first timeout of this game. Also, technical foul warning against Miami. Once again, that behind the back pass from Dylan Travis and Kenyon Berry staying accurate from beyond the arc. 10-8 in favor of Miami. This doesn't look at all like the game we saw in the group phase where Miami won 21-9. Keep in mind that Podgorica won against Miami. Okay, Kareem Maddox was not in the roster back then, but they won against Miami during the World Tour Masters in Marseille. 15-13 was the score in the quarterfinals. Podgorica got eliminated then in the semifinals, but that was a huge upset, but it was a low scoring affair. I don't know if Podgorica can win it if the pace is as high as it is here. The madman with the ball of the 3x3 logo, Miami on top. We're looking for that here. Ball goes out of bounds. Both teams are saying this should be us. We should have the possession. But the referees are saying that went without any deflection out of bounds. So Podgorica gets it again. Vujadinovic. No, my bad. This is Marko Rajicevic. Rajicevic to Jovanovic. Jovanovic keeps the dribble alive and he misses the right hand layup. Jimmer Fredette to Kareem Maddox. Gets it back from Travis. Maddox got fouled. Tactical foul committed here by Rajicevic. Team foul number 5 against Podgorica. Kenyon Berry puts it up for two. This time no good. Jovanovic underneath the basket. No way to elevate against Kareem Maddox. Now Maddox denies Petar Ivanovic on that 2-point attempt. You're not going anywhere, mister. Berry with a little bit of a space. Yes! Kenyon Berry saying, when I'm in my place, give me my space. 12-8 in favor of Miami. Once again, the second double by Kenyon Berry during this game. All the focus of the defense usually gets on Jimmer Fredette. He played amazingly in the semifinal, converting himself into a facilitator for his teammates. Now team foul number 6 against Podgorica. Kareem Maddox was grabbed from behind. So from now on, Podgorica is over the limit with 5 minutes and 51 seconds left until the end of this one. Berry again waits for the screen. And the game is stopped for an offensive foul this time. The bucket won't count. Podgorica will get it back from the top of the arc. Jovanovic And that's another foul away from the basketball. Another one against Miami. So both teams are over the limit from now on. Really interesting situation. We did not have reached the midpoint of this game yet. Rajicevic, a two-point attempt by Petar Ivanovic, and that's nothing but net. He buries it right over Jimmer Fredette, giving him a little bit of his own medicine. Travis now to Barry, he lost it. Great defense by Podgorica, putting a lot of heart in this game. Fredette telling to his teammates, let's calm down, guys. Let's calm down. We got this. But Podgorica is the team with the momentum right now. Can they create something out of it? Vujadinovic, Jovanovic through the screen gets it to Petar Ivanovic. Back to Jovanovic, misses the layup. Ivanovic kicks it out. Vujadinovic wide open for two. We are all even. Another shot right on cue from Alexa Vujadinovic. Maddox, the crossover, trying to muscle his way in the paint. And that's a foul against Podgorica. Vujadinovic trying to calm down his teammate because he knows Petar Ivanovic is letting the referee really hear it right now, and he can be called for a technical foul that would not do any good for this Podgorica's team. Well, looks like Ivanovic was hit with that tech. So one free throw for Jimmer Fredette. That will be followed by two more for Kareem Maddox. Fredette puts it in. As I mentioned before, the top scorer of this competition, 9 points per game for Jimmer. Now Kareem Maddox with 4.3 points per game so far, being a force on the offensive side of the game, but also on the defense. Keep in mind that back in 2011, when he was playing for the last year in Princeton and NCAA, he got the best defender, defensive player of the year in the Ivy League. 1 out of 2, my bad, for Maddox. So he splits the pair. Miami up by 2. Maddox gets it in the post, looks for Fredette. Jimmer now on the drive, puts it up for Maddox. He wanted a foul. The game goes on, and looks like Petar Ivanovic got his foot on the line, and that will give the possession to Miami. Ivanovic arguing the fact that the shot clock was reset, saying that ball did not touch the rim moments ago. Now Kenyon Barry on the move, finding the open lane, putting the ball into the net. And now we have a delay of game. That's a warning for Miami. The second one will be penalized with a technical foul. Again, that nice move by Kenyon Barry. Ivanovic puts up the 2. Not this time, but the offensive rebound goes to Rajicevic. The shortest player on the court grabbed that, and he puts it in to make it a one-possession game again. Fredette, the step back, the double. He won't hit, but there is Barry who keeps the possession alive for Miami. Fredette wide open for two money. Once again, Jimmer Fredette, when I'm out open for the double, you know you are in trouble. The pass inside and the finish by Jovanovic. 3-point ball game here. That's a foul. Foul against Podgorica. That team foul number 9. So from now on, they're over the double limit. And that also means 2 free throws for Kenyon Barry. He's going to execute those after the timeout. Kenyon Barry, former player for Iowa Wolves during the 2021-2022 season in the D-League. He also played professional basketball in Europe. He played for Salon Vikings in Finland and also for Brno in Czechia. Of course, Barry, well known for being a huge part of that American team that won the FIBA 3x3 World Cup back in 2019 in Amsterdam. Also part of the team that brought the gold medals at the FIBA 3x3 America back in 2023. When that was held in Santiago in Chile. And his free throws are pretty well known. This unorthodox turning back the time shot by Kenyon Berry, but if it goes in, it goes in, and he knocks them both down. 2 out of 2 for Berry. Miami within 2 of winning this final. The pass inside. Jovanovic kicks it out. The two-pointer, no good. That was Petar Ivanovic there with the shot. And now we have a foul here. That was an offense, so no free throws here. Podgorica needs something fast. A double would be great for them. Petar Ivanovic looks for Ivanovic, trying to create some space. Nothing there. Gives it to Vujadinovic, who goes straight to the rim, misses the shot, gets it back, and he got foul. He wanted the ends too, but the bucket won't count. He was not in the shooting motion. That was the decision. So Alexa Vujadinovic going to the free throw line. 2 shots. He can make it a 3-point ball game. First one is good. Second shot by Vujadinovic also went into the net. 19-16. Dylan Travis to Fredette. Barry with the screen. Fredette on the move. Barry was wide open, but Fredette lost it. Extra opportunity here for Podgorica, and what a huge foul committed by Fredette. Why would you do that in this situation? Miami from now on in the double penalty, starting with the next foul, but that will send Alexa Vujadinovic, who just made 2 free throws moments ago, to the free throw line for 2 more shots. This might be a 1-point ball game. Vujadinovic staying cold-blooded from the free throw line. So far, you can put jelly on his hand, not gonna shake. Two out of 2 again, 19-18. Miami with a bad pass. This is Ivanovic, and he throws it down to tie the 19. Podgorica with a 5-0 run, and they are back. Travis for the tournament. That won't go. Defensive rebound by Jovanovic. Rajicevic keeping the dribble alive, looking for the screen, the backdoor pass. He was not on the same page with Petar Ivanovic. Trying to get closer to the rim. Once again, the dunk by Ivanovic, who tied the game at 19, and Miami calls for a timeout. Just a few moments ago, this was a 19-14 in favor of Miami. It looked everything gonna go smooth again for the American team, but suddenly Podgorica, step by step, came back into the game, taking advantage, of course, of some big mistakes, of some big fouls. 4 free throws in a row were awarded to Alexa Vujadinovic. This is exactly what I mentioned during the past few games. This is exactly what you shouldn't do in this situation. Miami can win it right here. Jimmer Fredette. He doesn't want the 1-pointer. He's looking for the dagger. Fredette now on the move, has to put it up, and he scores. Miami within 1. But Podgorica with a double can win the tournament. This is Ivanovic for the win. Comes up short. Maddox with the rebound. And Miami can go for the 1-pointer. Fredette, will he be the hero from way outside? Knocks it down. And the Québec Challenger is over in style. The exclamation point from the top scorer of the competition. Jimmer Fredette did it again. Cold-blooded shot from beyond the arc, even though they needed only 1 point. Jimmer is saying, you know what? I don't have to be in the Milky Way system to shoot that. I can knock it down from anywhere, anytime. 22-19. And the title goes to Florida. Miami wins it against Podgorica, but what a final that was! Here are the highlights. Miami versus Podgorica, the last game of the Quebec Challenger, the two-pointer attack for Marko Rajicevic. Then Rajicevic scoring it again from the other wing. Later, Fredette threading the needle, finding Kareem Maddox in the paint, and Jimmer Fredette letting Rajicevic wondering where did he go after that nasty crossover. No problem with the layup. Later on, Rajicevic found in the paint by Ivanovic. Behind the back pass by Travis, and Kenyon Berry wide open for two puts it in. Another spectacular play added by Miami during this final. The two-pointer for Podgorica, keeping the team into the game. Kenyon Berry trying to take the matter in his own hands, driving to the basket. Ivanovic here tied it at 19. Then they got the 1 point advantage, courtesy of Jimmer Fredette. And Fredette was able to put the finishing touch, scoring from outside. I don't think he was in the Quebec area when he attempted that. Probably he was back there in Ontario, but it doesn't matter. 22 to 19, the final score. A spectacular final. We have to give a lot of credit to this Podgorica's team that was demolished during the group stage by Miami. They lost that 21 to 9, and now they were so close. They had shots that could have ended this game. That two-pointer by Petar Ivanovic, who gets a pep talk right here from Jovanovic. If that would have gone in, the outcome would have been different. That would have been a 21 to 19 win in favor of Podgorica. The award ceremony is coming up next. First, they're going to present the most valuable player. I don't think there's any question about that after the tournament made by Jimmer Fredette, finishing as the top scorer with 9.2 points per game and leading his team to win the tournament. Jimmer Fredette will probably be awarded the MVP, but looks like they have it the other way around here. First, they present the winner of the competition. So Miami, with the future roster of the United States of America at the Paris Olympics, including Dylan Travis, Jimmer Fredette, Kareem Maddox, and Kenyon Berry, are the winners here in Quebec, Canada, of the 2024 3x3 Quebec Challenger. And now they're going to announce the MVP. But as I mentioned before, everybody knows his teammates are already celebrating for Jimmer. Jimmer Fredette with a total of 46 points, including the last three in the final after the game was tied at 19, is once again the most valuable player. And like everybody expected, he stayed red hot during this tournament, taking all the right calls. Let's hear it from him.
right now, but I'm sure you can't help to look forward what's coming up in the next few weeks with Edmonton and then the Olympics in Paris. That must give your team a boost of confidence, really. And we'll be very, very happy to have you back. Nice to meet you guys when I come back. But what do you think with this crowd? They were behind you, and I'm pretty sure a lot of them are going to cheer you on at the next Olympics. Jimmer Fredette,
Well deserved by Jimmer Fredette, well deserved by Miami, the winners of the 2024 3x3 Quebec Challenger. What a great tournament that was. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. I'd like to thank everybody who stayed here on the FIBA 3x3 streaming until the end. Once again, my name is Cosmin Petrescu. It's always a pleasure and an honor to be here with you, to be one of the voices for this great 3x3 basketball phenomenon that is all over the world growing. Congratulations once again to Miami. Best of luck to all the teams. And with that, I can say that's a wrap. Have a good day, everybody. Peace out.